It's been a pleasure following the Darth Vader series in 2020. This has been the most epic canon material we have read so far, and we all know the conclusion to where it leads in issue number 5. We got previews today, officially from StarWars.com, that gives us 5 pages from issue number 5, and guys, they are glorious. So let's go through them one by one and see the devastation that Darth Vader leaves behind on Naboo. He finally enters Padme's grave, and we finally get to see what happens inside. Immediately, without meandering around, we see Darth Vader stand in front of Padme's grave. We officially get to see how Padme was buried in her tomb, and this is it. A stone construction, a stone slab with her figure carved in the upper side, in her own image. Padme lays there dead, and Vader could do nothing but watch on. You can imagine how he is feeling at this moment, and I would be curious to see in his younger Vader days. There are many chunks in his history that we don't see or know. Did he actually visit Padme's grave before? Because at this moment he is not showing that much emotion. It would be great to see him other than silence, which we have come accustomed to seeing from Darth Vader, and the shadow itself. You can see Padme's face and Vader's overwhelming figure in the background. This is all symbolizing something that is about to come, a very horrible thing that Vader did and ultimately came to his senses. As at that moment, Sabe was right behind him. She implored Vader to not do this. He can't desecrate her queen's tomb. But Zed behind her was not so compliant, as he said that his master Vader had come for answers and he will ultimately get them. Sabe, though, let out a final no. She yelled out at the top of her lungs as she loved Padme, not knowing that Vader once upon a time loved her too. Vader now extended his hand with the Force, and the grave started crackling. It started moving. Her tomb was about to be open. The dust was coming out. This gravestone was about to be destroyed, and Vader showed no remorse until now, as Sabe still yelled out, but she and Zed just ended up looking on as everybody gave up in the wishes of Darth Vader. He was not going to stop. He was going to finish what he started, and at that moment, of course, memories started flooding in. Padme was tormenting Vader from beyond the grave. Once she was happy with Anakin on flowery planet of Naboo, and then she was gone, choked close to death by Darth Vader on Mustafar. Vader felt a sharp pain as he withdrew his hand and stopped from destroying Padme's tomb. It's as if Padme had attacked him from the beyond. Vader was absolutely stunned at that moment, and the worst part about it is that throughout all this time he has said nothing and he has expressed nothing. He has just looked on as Zed had to take over. Vader withdrew back with Sabe. He could not even stand close to the tomb, as Zed thought at this moment that Vader had had a different idea, that he should not disturb Padme's tomb with the Force, but Zed could scan across it and see if he could find anything or any evidence. Otherwise, Vader could destroy it. And as he continued to do so, the scan proved to be a success, as Zed was happy, but Vader was ultimately very, very sad. His head was slumped down. He couldn't even look at Padme's image, at Padme's carving. All this time he had spent away from Padme, and he could not bring himself to look at the Queen once again. The all-happy Zed, though, was not preoccupied with Vader. He simply found out the location of the evidence. It was a med implant that was stamped, and decoding it proved to be very easy for Zed, who was a first-class Imperial forensics droid, top of the line. He immediately constructed the solar system of where the secret base in which Darth Vader needed to get to, where those secrets of Padme were hiding, and where he will find out more about not only Luke, but Padme's death. everything that surrounded that situation, Vader was keen on learning. Even Sabe was fascinated with how Vader learned this information. She went out of Padme's tomb and hailed out all the Amidalans. Vader now had a new destination, and they needed to stand by for coordinates. As the handmaidens were getting ready to leave, one of the Death Troopers pointed his blaster at them, preparing to shoot, but Vader used the Force to push it out of him. "No," said Vader. He told Sabe to go. Sabe wondered why was Vader saying this, but Vader had a clear message to everybody, to tell all of her friends, to tell them to meet with Vader. Of course, Disney would do this. A cliffhanger in the 5th page. These are just the previews, and we get left with a cliffhanger. I guess we're gonna have to wait another week. This will come on Wednesday, and we will get to see the full comic and what happens afterwards, and how Vader will meet with the rest of the Amidalans together with Sabe. Vader has something schemed up and has a plan, but we just don't know it yet. What we do know is that Vader will travel to Polis Massa, as I've talked about previously in a different video. Vader will journey to where it all ended, basically. The official dying place of Padme Amidala and the official birthplace of his son, Luke Skywalker. And travel to Polis Massa. You guys gotta remember Polis Massa. It is the birthplace of Luke and Leia. But as it pertains to right now for Darth Vader, I think he will only discover the truth about Luke Skywalker, since in episode 6 it is hinted that he only knows about Luke's existence and nothing about Leia's. To find out more about Darth Vader number 5, we need to go to the synopsis of that issue and read the bullet points in detail. Let's start from the beginning. Now, Polis Massa is located in the Outer Rim territories. It is an asteroid field located in the subterral sector of the galaxy and far from any major hyperspace lanes. At some point, Polis Massa was a planet located within the system of the same name, which is the Polis Massa system, but the planet was home to a subterranean people called the Elayan until it was destroyed by a mysterious cataclysm. This is all canon, and the first time we get to see the destructive Polis Massa, the base on Polis Massa, is in Revenge of the Sith during the ending of everything that culminated in that movie, more specifically in the entire trilogy. The love between Padme and Anakin had come to an end. Their coexistence was no more. Darth Vader had choked Padme Amidala close to death, although after getting healed by Palpatine, he was told that Padme together with his child were now dead, and the one guilty for her death was Vader himself. Again, the 5th issue is coming on the 16th of September. That is a Wednesday next week. These were that concluded basically Vader's journey on Naboo. What I was disappointed of course, was there was not a lot of emotion in that tomb. I don't think this will be the last page of Padme Vader. I think after this 5th page, Vader will go back maybe on Padme's tomb, and maybe we will get an extended version of this, but there's a high chance that this is over. Vader simply entered Padme's tomb and got out without saying a word, as the writers possibly wanted to tell us that he was so ashamed that he couldn't bring himself to say or do anything in the presence of Padme's corpse, or Padme's tomb, however you want to see it. But this was very interesting to say the least, and I want to know what you guys think as well. Talk to me down below in the comments. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a thumbs up down below, subscribe for dailies. Now you have an awesome day, Star Wars fans. I'll see you in the next video, and may the Force be with you until then.